Welcome to Challenge the Narrative. In this show, I will not tell you what to believe. I will not tell you what to think. In this show, I want you to be curious, to ask questions, to question the things that you believe, that you've been taught. Are they proven? Are they true? Are they based on facts? Or are they based on speculation or theories? Welcome to Challenge the Narrative. Welcome to the first ever episode of Challenge the Narrative. And this one is all going to be about aliens. But if we're going to challenge the narrative, first we must have a narrative to challenge. And so, what would that be for aliens? Is there one? I mean, aliens haven't turned up yet, have they? Or they certainly haven't announced themselves, as far as I'm aware. And yet, I'll put to you that there is a narrative about them already, even though they haven't yet turned up or showed themselves, at least not officially. There hasn't been like an official disclosure of, hey, look at these guys over here. They're from another planet. But if that ever happens, there already is kind of a narrative in place. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But what I'm going to invite you to do is to challenge the narrative. How dare you? So if I'm saying that there is a narrative, I kind of need to provide a source for that. So here's my source. No, okay, enough of that silliness. Here's some actual sources. So the general consensus is that the universe is a really rather big place. And I'm fine with that. I'm fully on board with that narrative, to be honest. And it's also generally known that there are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of stars. And also likely lots of planets too. And again, I'm on board with that narrative too. So it's all about probability and statistics, the whole idea of there being alien life out there in the universe. So I'll read a little bit from this article from How Stuff Works. For a while, science contented itself with the logic alone. Then in 1995, astronomers located the first planets outside our solar system. Since then, they've detected nearly 300 of these extrasolar planets. Although most are large, hot planets similar to Jupiter, which is why they're easier to find, smaller Earth-like planets are beginning to reveal themselves. In June 2008, European astronomers found 3 planets, all a little larger than Earth, orbiting a star 42 light-years away. These discoveries have served as an affirmation for those involved in the search for extraterrestrial intelligent life, or SETI. Harvard physicist and SETI leader Paul Horowitz boldly stated in a 1996 interview with Time magazine, "Intelligent life in the universe? Guaranteed. Intelligent life in our galaxy? So overwhelmingly likely that I'd give you almost any odds you'd like." So the general narrative is that there may well be intelligent life out there in space, but we're talking large distances away. For example, I think the one just cited was at 46 light years away or something like that. That's really, really, really far. Far indeed. And so that's the narrative that I'm going to look to challenge. The narrative that if there are aliens, that they're really, really far away, from light years away, or long, long distances that would take a long time to get to us. Now, I've only briefly brought up one source on the screen, but do your own research. As with everything, I'm not here to try and tell you what to believe or think. Have your own thoughts, do your own research. But there are many sources out there, online and in other areas, which will give the narrative about how many known stars there are, the fact that we're discovering more and more every day, the number of potential planets that could sustain life, all that kind of stuff. All this research is going on as we speak. So now time for the challenge. And a counter narrative, one that I find interesting, is that if aliens ever do appear, or if there's ever some kind of official disclosure of aliens, or they appear and start communicating with us, the counter narrative is that they might not necessarily be from far away. They might not necessarily be from light years away. They might actually be from very, very close, and that we just haven't been able to see them until they reveal themselves. This in itself might sound a completely alien subject to you. See what I did there? Yes, I do dad jokes. I'm a dad. But what I mean by this is that there's a theory that these, aliens or intelligent life isn't necessarily from far away, but from just a different dimension, an interdimensional being of sorts. So, okay, yeah, if I'm going to start talking about dimensions, I need to back that up with some kind of source or theoretical physics. So when it comes to different dimensions, I'm not just talking some science fiction kind of movie stuff here. Here's an article from physics.org. And there is a theory that there is at least 10 dimensions. Some think maybe slightly more, but 10 seems to be kind of the consensus of what can be measured. So I'll just read a little bit about this article first of all. When someone mentions different dimensions, we tend to think of things like parallel universes, alternate realities that exist parallel to our own, but where things work or happen differently. However, the reality of dimensions and how they play a role in the ordering of our universe is really quite different from this popular characterization. To break it down, dimensions are simply the different facets of what we perceive to be reality. We are immediately aware of the three dimensions that surround us on a daily basis, those that define the length, width, and depth of all objects in our universe, the X, Y, and Z axes, respectively. Beyond these three visible dimensions, scientists believe that there may be more. In fact, the theoretical framework of superstring theory posits that the universe exists in 10 different dimensions. These different aspects of what govern the universe, the fundamental forces of nature, and all of the elementary particles contained within. It then goes on to explain a bit about the different types of dimensions, fourth being time, and then the other ones where it starts to get a bit stranger, different possibilities, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to the full article there. I will just stop sharing that screen. From what I've heard and read, the physicists say that although they can't sort of view all 10 dimensions, they can detect effects from the dimensions, and that's how they've come up with the number of there being 10. I've yet to look into how they actually know that, what it is they're detecting, but I think that's the realms of physics that is a bit above my head. If you're watching and you know about this stuff, please put it in the comments and enlighten me about that, because some of that is way over my head. But it's well known under this thing called string theory that 10 dimensions is a possibility, possibly even more. So why am I banging on about this, and what has it got to do with aliens? Well, my challenge to the narrative is that if aliens do someday turn up, I would assert that they're not actually from light years away, from very far away. I would say they were just an interdimensional being that is intersecting with our dimension. Um, in the same way that if you had a 2D, a piece of paper, 2D, with a theoretical man on it, um, he wouldn't be able to perceive us in three dimensions, but we could stick our finger into his flat world, into his 2D world, and he would see our cross section of our finger sticking through his world. I've got a video on my channel sort of explaining about that. It's easier to look backwards than it is to look forwards when we're thinking of dimensions. And so some kind of intelligent life or alien life, instead of it having to sort of, cross, say, 46 light years of space, they could just be outside of our four dimensions and just simply intersect into it and then intersect out, if that makes sense. It makes sense to me, but then I'm a little bit weird. Please let me know in the comments if you understood that or if you've got no idea what I'm talking about. So just to do a quick recap, the narrative you see in movies, in the media, articles, people like Joe Rogan talking about aliens and all this kind of stuff, and looking at things from the logical point of view of what we know about the universe so far, the general consensus is that if these guys turn up, they're from a long, long way away. They're from space. The nearest habitable kind of planets are very far away. And so if aliens turn up or they appear and communicate with us, the narrative is going to be, hey, these guys have come from really far away. And to challenge the narrative, I would say, hold on a second. Hold on. That may be. And you may believe that. That's fine. But there's also a different view, a challenge to the narrative. Are they just an interdimensional being? And they've been here the whole time. Who knows? Now, I personally would think that they're probably some kind of what we could refer to as interdimensional being. To put it more simply, I would say more the spiritual realm, a spiritual being, like you get the stories of things like angels and demons, that kind of thing. But again, I just want to assert, this show is not me trying to tell you to believe what I believe or how to think. All I want you to do is be curious and challenge the narrative. How dare you? As with all the shows I'm going to do on this subject, and I plan to do quite a few different subjects challenging the narrative. If you look at things and decide, actually, yeah, I still believe that the current narrative, then that's fine. Okay. I'm not here to tell anybody what to think. What I want is for people to question things and challenge things and ask those questions to make sure that they're not just blindly believing things because other people say so, or because the narrative says so, or because I say so for that matter. So I think I just need to wrap this up now, and that's the narrative about aliens. If they turn up, they're from very, very far away. My challenge is, are they really? They may be, Or are they actually, have they been here the whole time? Are they very close? Are they just slipping into our dimensions, our 4 dimensions that we can detect and feel from other dimensions that we don't really fully understand yet? And that would be my challenge. And those would be my challenging questions. I like to stay curious. Even if they turned up and told me, hey, we're from, I don't know, 200 light years away, I'm not necessarily going to believe that. I'm going to challenge them. Anyway, that is it for the debut of this show of Challenge the Narrative. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. If you have, then please subscribe, as I am going to be doing more subjects. So I wish you all a good day, and remember, stay curious.